Good morning, South Beach. Good morning, South Beach. No, not Dino again. This is Tom for episode 11, the Fifth Street Gym podcast. So today we have a couple special guests. Miss Fernanda, I'll tell you a little bit about her in a little bit. Mr. Noel, I think he's our first guest to be here twice.
Yep.
Co-host
Pleasure.
Patrick.
How's it going,
Before I
guys?
start, quick thing. So we have a guy that produces the show. He's like a 6-foot Australian. He does like 700 push-ups a day. And if I don't do this motherfucker calls me at 3 o'clock in the morning and says, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? So I'm gonna say it now. Subscribe. And he pays us a lot of money, so I have to say this shit. So subscribe and like, that'll get us more people interested in it and we can keep doing it. And I really need the money. So please, if you can, do it. Now, Fernanda, Noel. I think with anyone watching this, like, what's the deal with you two guys? I mean, are you guys like dating? Are you roommates? Are you like, what's the deal? I can't get anything out of him. He's like my best friend and he won't tell me shit. So, what's going
Just a
on?
combination of everything all together.
Yeah.
Roommates, dating,
Come on, what's going
couple.
on? Talk to me.
Well, it was all your fault.
What do you mean my fault? What did I do?
And you remember, I mean, when I first moved to Miami, I was coming to train at this gym, which I really like.
Because of me,
and
of
then
course.
it happened for us to meet here. When I was like, you were kicking my ass in the workout, and Noel comes in eating pizza. Remember? I was like literally working out,
drinking a beer
dying,
too?
and of course hungry, and he was just walking into the gym. Eating his pizza, and I'm like,
And the biggest
Really?
tiramisu.
I remember I didn't like him at all at the beginning. I was like, oh.
Well, you have a funny way of showing it from what I remember. We couldn't get
That's
rid
when
of
you know
her,
the
is
girl
what I
likes
can
you.
remember.
If she doesn't like you at the first, then you know, oh, she likes you.
Yeah, so Noel was in a very bad, I'm not going to give away his secrets, but he did not like women, I'm telling you. He used to just abuse them. He was like in a hate mode. So, but I want to know, like, are you guys roommates? Are you dating? Have you ever dated? Like, you know, I need to know. Everyone
yeah,
keeps
it
asking me. I'm
just-
like,
it just happened. You know, I was not looking for a relationship at all. I was like, okay, I'm moving.
wait, so you are in a relationship?
I think so. Yes, we are. Right?
Okay, so there you have it.
It's
I don't know
official.
what's going on with them, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm going to concentrate on Fernanda. Where are you from? Let people know where you were born.
So I am originally from Mexico. I moved to the United States it's gonna be 4 years ago. I moved to Miami from Chicago. My family lives in Chicago, and I started there. My career has been growing since I moved to America. And well, Miami now it's my new spot. I moved here about 6 months ago. And I really like it. I enjoy it a lot. And the gym, of course, has been a big factor on me adapting and feeling comfortable in Miami.
And I've never watched them because I know you from the gym and as on a personal level. But you're done 2 reality shows, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I have. So I did a show called 90 Day Fiancé on TLC. That was my very first big appearance on TV in America's, American networks. Then I did another TV show, total new season first, The Single Life was called. And we're now trying to get a contract for a second season. Just trying to figure it out, probably, potentially. But yeah, that's part of it.
So now on the reality shows, how much of it is reality? Is it scripted? Because I've heard that you're quite the drama queen, and he's the complete opposite. That I know. He's like the
it's really
undrama
interesting, you
king.
know. I mean, of course, it's based reality TV. It is based on your reality, like your
real life.
Yeah, based on your life. But I mean, it's a whole production. You know, the producer comes and and tells you their creative ideas based on your reality. And then from then on, you kind of agree on the storyline, and it's just a teamwork. It's network involved. So it is a little bit tricky and interesting because you're obviously giving away your privacy, which is very expensive. And that's the hardest part, I guess, for a cast member, to just give away your privacy and let a bunch of people to come home and film your life.
And then, did you do anything in Mexico? That I don't know myself. Were you on TV at all in Mexico? Model,
Yes,
anything?
I did. Just as a hobby, I always did as a hobby. Just social media started since like doing Vines. I don't even know if you know what is that. I used to do. I worked for a marketing agency, so I would do commercials. I would talk on just for like promoting stuff and like football games and stuff like that. I did beauty shows. I was like Miss Guanajuato, which is my state, and it's just always been in the public eye somehow in different projects, but was only a hobby until I came to America. It was actually a little bit more professional and more like a job.
And then, were you talented as a child? Did you sing? Did you dance? Did you act? Were you...
Since I was little, I remember my mom, she had a photographer friend, and I was baby, I was a few years old, and he will always come and take pictures of me and get me on like little like commercials and things. So I was always, I always liked to be on camera. I always, like my mom would say, once somebody puts a camera in front of you, something turns on you, and you just like, are like, I don't know. So
Right.
I always liked it.
And Fernanda, to jump in, I was wondering too, bringing it to boxing a little bit. You know, you're from Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico has a rich boxing history, so many champions.
Yeah.
Was that something on your radar as a kid? Were you a fan? Were there members of your family that were big fans of Mexican stars growing up?
This is a really interesting question, because my family are very conservative and my grandparents are so religious, and they did not like violence at all in any aspect in our life. So growing up, we couldn't even play with water guns. That's how strict my grandpa was, because he will just have this extreme idea of no violence at all for anything that symbolizes. And they thought that, of course, boxing was a sport that we just as a child, we shouldn't have around. And I always liked it, but I never could either practice it or watch it or anything, because I would feel bad because of my
So
family.
what do they think of Noel now? I mean, you're dating a boxer.
You always like the forbidden things. It's like, Noel is forbidden, or I have to get it.
I just feel like after I moved to America and I just been on my own, I've been able to just break those agreements with my family, and I respect them and love them so much, but I choose to just live by whatever I want now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want to date a boxer. Why not?
And that's it.
She's a basketball fan, actually. She used to play basketball.
Oh, really?
I used to play basketball since I was 8 years old to 16, so I played 8 years of my life, and I always been to sports. After that, I started doing bodybuilding. I did one show.
Oh, wow.
Then after that, just training. It's just always been, fitness has always been part of my life. And
Can you dunk a basketball?
did I what?
Can you dunk a basketball?
Nah.
With my help,
I'm
can
not
she?
tall enough. He helps me. He lifts me up. So yeah, it's been interesting. I think that's why our relationship is going so well, because we share that passion of fitness somehow, and we both like to
Of course.
just train.
And you got the athletic background with the bodybuilding. Obviously, you
My
have.
dad was a bodybuilder, actually.
Wow, there you go. So you have a lot of exposure to dieting, right? Training.
Yeah.
So now that you're dating Noel, a pro boxer here,
Oh, okay. It's been
it probably
eating
fits
real
right in,
good.
right? He's eating good and
She takes care of me very well.
keeps you trim and ready to go. But talk to us a little bit about what it's like to date a professional fighter,
Ooh.
be around him in training, maybe see both sides to him. I know Noel is a nice guy out of the ring, but in the ring, you know, he hits like, getting hit by a horse or something. So
You know what? When all my friends and family and everybody knew that I was like, they find out that I was dating Noel. They don't know him personally, of course. They just know that he's a boxer. But everybody has that stigma of like, oh my God, a fighter, like, you know. And they were like, are you okay? Like, is he good to you? Like, and I don't know. At the beginning, I never doubted, or I never like questioned myself. Is he like that? Because I just knew him in a personal level where like I always felt really comfortable with him, and he's just like really nice person.
One time we did. There's a Netflix show about Carlos Monzon.
Oh my God, yes.
You know Carlos Monzon? Second best.
Monzon?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he was a lunatic too.
Yep.
He played his Monzon. I never
He killed
watched
his
it.
wife.
I knew about him, but I never watched the show.
Scared her.
We watched the show together, and I saw the clip where he killed his wife or something. Oh my God.
They had
Horror
good
movie.
music. They had good music in there, right?
A lot of horror movies
Great
and
boxer.
violence on Netflix these days.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot, a lot of things that definitely made me like, are they like, because, but I just also think that it probably as a modeling, there is a stigma on every single career where people generalize, and it's not like that, not everybody's like that.
Everybody
so.
thinks boxers are violent, models are stupid and dumb.
Dumb.
But
No, boxers,
it's
not
the
models.
opposite. I'm
No,
not
he's
violent
saying
and she's
everything
not
but-
dumb.
They're models too.
Well,
See?
okay.
Are you teaching him a little Spanish, or is
Yeah.
you're multilingual as well? You're
Yeah,
both. You
he
both are.
speaks
So
4.
Going on 5.
And I feel like that's
See.
helping him to learn Spanish. At the beginning, he spoke like just a little bit, and it was funny. But now he's learning so fast and a lot, and it's not funny anymore. I don't want to like even talk to my mom when he's around. Just get it. But yeah, he's learning Spanish really quick.
Noel, so how's it, dating Fernanda now, giving you some more focus in the boxing game, maybe giving more structure to your life? Talk to me about how maybe it parallels into your career right now. How's it everything going?
It's very comfortable. Like, she takes care of me, she cooks, she eats healthy by herself, she works out a lot, which I do. And
Wait, I found French fries in the car the other day.
yeah, that was. We're all sinners, Tom. And we have many things in common. And she plays sometimes this drama queen and so, but at home, she's a very supportive, smart person, and I adore that about her and admire her. And we make a good couple, so she is really supportive of it.
That's
Now
awesome.
it's easier than to be single and fight.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you guys got a strong team headed into a fight, hopefully soon. Tom, I know we talked a little bit about, some potential opponents for Noel, some things getting worked out. Both of you guys, if you want to jump in there to talk about maybe what's next and,
Yeah,
when.
so the thing about boxing is it's basically full of just interesting people. I'll say it there. I'll save it for another day. But
Characters.
so with the COVID thing, it's a little bit different. There's Macabre, I think, is the Cruiserweight champion in the WBC. Mauricio Suleiman, who's the president's really trying to help us out as much as he can. He's a good guy. And we kind of want to fight Macabre for the title, but he's in, Africa, and he was saying that he can't leave Africa because of the COVID thing. Then we were supposed to fight a guy named Uchunu, Southpaw, pretty durable guy, he's ranked #1. Then he went off, he says he couldn't fight. So right now we're trying to work out something with
Dordula, number 5 in the
who's
WBC,
ranked right there.
African champion.
He's the
Experienced, good guy. We try to fight for interim world title as soon as possible because the champion can't defend it against me right now. So we'll probably fight for the interim title. So we're working on that right now with our promoters.
Is there someone that you want?
Yeah, I'll fight anybody in the division, but he's very comfortable to fight right now. He's experienced. I mean, he's a little bit older than me. I'm in my prime right now, which I should use proper.
Right.
And I feel very comfortable beating him and getting the interim world title, so the champion can't run from me, and we can make the fight happen for the WBC
Sure.
title.
And a lot of people ask me, what brought you to the States and what brought you specifically to the Fifth Street Gym? Because people
Well,
ask me that, so maybe you
Long
could.
story short, I was already like 2 years traveling back and forth from Miami to Germany because I used to train here with Pedro Diaz, with the Cubans in Tropical Park.
Yeah, great trainer.
And last year when I came here, it was right in front of COVID. And so the lockdown happened, everything was closed, and I was on my own without family, nothing, and like I was training every day in the beach, so I wasn't tired of running.
Right.
And then I was looking for the gyms which were open. And Google said this gym is open, and I just drove by, but it was closed.
And you had no idea anything about the gym. You're just like,
First of all, I was looking for the gym like an hour or so because I didn't know that's here in the alley. And
We're
Google gives me-
behind a sex shop by the name of Naughty
I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
no free
Can't make this
ads.
shit up.
Very unique.
And then I came here, but the doors were closed, but I hear the bell.
Yeah.
So I called, and Tom picked up the phone, and he's like, I'm in Chicago, but the gym is open. I said, come tomorrow. So he set an appointment with Dino. The next day I was here, and yeah, I started training here, and I liked it. We have a good relationship, and
Yeah.
I like the atmosphere in the gym, and we meet cute girls here, obviously. And,
Only me.
You got your hands on a belt now. You have a
Exactly.
girlfriend. Things are really on the up and up for Noel right
me
now
and
in
Tom-
Fifth Street.
Me and Tom and Dino are working on great things, and I'm looking forward to make big things happen. So everything is going to the right direction, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to do more.
And I do want to ask you too. So as you know, I'm a hardcore boxing fan. I love watching fighting. I'm into the sweet science. I appreciate that as well. But a lot of the casual fans out there, as we all know, they love the knockout. And you're a guy who has tremendous power. I've seen it firsthand. I've held the bag and felt that you hit like a mule. But in your record recently, there's been a lot of decisions. And I want to ask you, going forward now, are you thinking about that and trying to give the fans those knockouts to try to just get your name out there even more? Or is it just about getting the win? Because unfortunately, you know, a lot of those casual fans and attention, they want to see knockouts.
That's true, but I'm a long time in boxing. My stepfather was a boxer, a professional fighter, and I followed his career, and I have much experience in the sport. And people are always talking. You know, you have a guy, for example, Vladimir Klitschko. He was knocking out everybody, but people would still call him boring. But he was knocking out everybody. And then you have somebody like Floyd Mayweather is out pointing everybody, and they would say, "Oh, he's boring." So, as you know, boxing is as better it gets. It's like chess. Less people admire it because you have to have more knowledge about it. I'm a guy with a tremendous power, but you know, if you don't land the punch, you can lose the fight. If somebody's outboxing you, you know. So in my career, I always went on the safe side, and I knew I can outbox him because of good boxing skills. I always use my boxing, and I'm a guy. I never do like more than is necessary to beat the guy. You know what I mean? I like to dominate the guy over 12 rounds, but I can punch. And yeah, I had 2 robbery decisions in my career, which made me more motivated and more focused to knock people out. And yeah, everybody knows how hard I hit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knockout is more about timing too than about power.
Yeah.
So I'm working right now only on
The only thing I haven't seen
My
him
power.
hurt is the like 2-ton horse that wound up hitting him like a horse when he stepped on his foot.
That's what I like about this gym. I'm breaking here everything, every bag, and Tom lets me still
You're
train
busting
here.
it open, yeah.
He's
And you're a
literally-
horse
the
rider,
water
too.
back
You
here
mentioned
he
that.
broke the other day.
Oh,
It's
yeah. I love
leaking.
horses.
He broke that thing over there. I've had to repair the speed bag a handful of times.
That's also a good thing about us. Her father has a ranch with very, very pretty nice horses, and they invited me over there, and I was riding the Andalusians. They're very, very nice, high quality horse. I had so much fun, and it's also a big plus when I'm with her. I'm kidding.
Tell me the story when a horse was trying to kick you, though. When you were
Oh yeah, one of them
Yeah.
stepped on my foot.
That's
So I was wearing these NOEL shoes, which are like socks.
Yeah.
And I can show you a picture of the horse. The horse is like huge.
huge horse.
Like next to me, it looks like.
And it's full weight stepped on your foot.
And I was like petting him, and he just like sneaked his foot on my foot. And I couldn't even scream because it hurt so much. I was pushing it away.
Well, tell him that you were teasing the horse, too, with the carrots.
Not this one.
So it was its friend or something. It was getting it back. Yeah.
This is a hobby. Yes.
Which has been your hardest fight? I've never asked you that. What's you think it's been your
But
toughest
to
fight?
be honest, if you watch all my fights, I always won clearly. There's nothing like really close, or so I always outbox the guys. Like, and I never got hit, which is very important in boxing because as many like small fighters say, you last long in the sport. Like, look, I'm 30 years old. I have nothing in my face besides a cut from
your
head
brain's
punch.
off a little bit.
But it's better than other fighters, usual fighters. And yeah.
Well, we know you have the power to translate to heavyweight, right? So, I mean, would that be something you'd entertain if it was the right opponent and cruiserweight guys are dodging you or whatever is the case, and maybe the right heavyweight comes along that would...
Well, yeah, of course. But first I want my cruiserweight world title official to be in my curriculum, and then I can step up to the heavyweight division.
And then how does Fernanda help since you guys are together? Because I knew you before, and your habits.
Yeah.
How has she changed you? Because I love this girl, so you better say something nice about
But
her.
as I mentioned, she's always like preparing good meals for me, healthy meals, and supporting me with the training, and go to massages and like everything what an athlete needs. Like, she's also mentally very supportive, which I really like, and makes my life easier.
That's awesome.
Right? Huh?
What a team.
I'm gonna cry.
But
No, I'm
I
not.
want to ask you guys both a little bit about just some of the boxing news today, especially with a guy like Usyk coming up from cruiserweight to heavyweight. Obviously, he had his reign at cruiserweight. What are things looking like for him potentially in a fight against Joshua? Do you think he's too undersized, or is his skill level enough to have success in the heavyweight division?
Well, it depends on it. I saw Usyk is a very skillful, very talented, good fighter with much amateur experience. He beat everybody in the cruiserweight division. He had some hard fights lately and beat all of the creme de la creme guys.
Yeah.
And you have Joshua, who is physically very strong and fast and heavier, but doesn't have the skills as Usyk, and he's not a southpaw. So maybe the power of Joshua will make Usyk tired and his weight advantage, but I can also see Usyk outbox Joshua 12 rounds easily.
Really?
Because his footwork is very good, very experienced, and he's mentally very strong.
Because Chisora seemed to give him some problems.
Yeah, but Chisora is a grown-up heavyweight with much experience. I mean, he fought all the best in the
For sure.
in the division, and also he gave his all in this fight because it's the end of his career, so he had to.
Actually, that fight's going to be a really good gauge for us too, because I think Noel hits every bit as hard as David Haye or Louis Ortiz. His power, and you felt it. I mean,
Yeah.
you really, and I've had a lot of professional fighters, former champions, hold that bag when he hits it, and of course, it's different hitting it back than a human being.
But you can tell by the sound of it, too.
But his power,
it's
I
different.
mean, one of the guys had headphones on walking down the alley. He's like, I ain't sparring that guy. I can hear him through my headphones, tearing up the bag.
And Evander got to see it, right?
But there's a
Holyfield?
saying:
Yeah.
a boxer always wins puncher, so you have to have also the skills to
Also the
box.
skills,
Yeah, it's not only
Which he
punch.
has,
Yes.
But Usyk doesn't have the power, so I think that'll be a good gauge for us.
Yeah.
Very good skills, very experienced, and people are really underestimating his mental strength.
Yeah.
Watch his eyes; he's a very smart mental strength guy.
Which he's told me many times. He knows him as well as
I
anyone.
like Joshua too. I like both. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
great
an
fighter.
interesting division right now. There's a lot of different talent and fighters, but if you
I
wanted
want to
to...
get back to Fernanda
Yeah.
for a second. What brought you down to Miami? I know you're in Chicago. I know you train with a lot of guys in Chicago that I also know. But what
Right.
brought you down here? Yeah.
So my agency, my modeling agency is out here, but also in Chicago. But Chicago got really the market got with COVID plus the winter. Chicago gets a little depressing. So
A
for
little?
me, yeah, for me, I like the hot weather. I like the beach, and I come here. I used to come here every 2 months for work. So I really enjoyed the fitness community. I enjoyed the beach. I enjoyed everything about it, and I thought that with COVID and everything going on, it was the perfect time for me to just make a move, and I did. Just follow it.
You still have to finish the beach workout where you go in the water that you never finished. Remember that one?
That's something. I mean, just I need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Also, what's your favorite food that you like to cook? Because I know you like to cook. I've been over to your place for dinner. Taco.
Mexican food,
I don't want to
very
say it to
good.
be called like names, but he likes tacos.
Is that your favorite meal also to have
Well,
prepared?
I have tried a lot of new things because, of course, Noel, he has traveled everywhere. He
Yeah.
knows about food from, a lot of different meals. And I also don't want to just, cook Mexican food over and over. We eat really healthy, which we always try to just, do the healthy version of every meal. So we've been trying a lot of new things, right?
I didn't like Mexican food at all before. But I eat it, but it's not like I was admiring
Your
it.
favorite.
But her quesadillas are mucho gusto.
Next level.
Yeah, we love cooking.
The one day I came over at the house, you didn't have tacos, you had pasta.
Because I thought that you always had tacos, and
I
then
know,
Dino was
yeah.
coming, he's Italian. I was like, hey, I don't know.
Pasta.
It makes sense, pasta.
So what's going on with the show? Any news on what's going on for the next season? And I know you.
Well, we are negotiating. At this point, Noel will be involved. If that happens, we have to meet everybody's standards.
Why don't you have your own show? You need to have your own show.
I know, right? We have to.
Not a soap opera, like your own show.
Talk to my manager, Tom.
No, that's way above my pay
And
grade.
Noel, you're gonna have your debut on the big screen.
Oh, I was already twice in her show.
Oh, okay.
It was really interesting. I didn't know nothing about it, so I was a little bit like shy and like. What is this about?
Then we're fresh. A lot of things happen so quick, which is like move to Miami. We start dating. My grandma passed away. I feel like
I
he was a
remember
really
that, yeah.
amazing, supportive at that moment. That a lot of times I even think that's something. I'm very into like destiny and stuff like that. So I do believe that he was meant to be or cross my path at that time because I needed a support, and he's been just amazing. So a lot of things have been happening. It's only been 6 months. We've been handling everything really well because of course you're dealing with everything coming up with the fight and myself and my career and the modeling right now Swim Week, and it's just been a lot. I think that we're doing great, but we're very excited
Yeah, talk about
the
Swim
future.
Week. What is a lot of people ask me? I don't even know what it was until
So
this
Swim
week.
Week is basically like a fashion week on Miami, but based on or focused on swimwear. A lot of brands from all over Brazil.
Good that you
A lot
say
of
that.
different.
I thought like swimwear.
So did you go any have you brought him to any parties? Because he's
Well,
actually
actually,
using
I have a
models.
show right
That's his
after this,
favorite thing.
and he's coming to watch it. I'm walking for some designers, and this show is called The Art of Hearts, and it's a big show in the Finance Serum.
And you actually missed the show today just to come here today,
Oh,
right?
she has
I
later.
didn't
I have
miss
to
it.
drop
I'm gonna
her
get
later.
there late, but it's okay. This is worth it. We promise we'll be here, so it's okay. I have that show later, so you guys are invited. You wanna come and watch? It's gonna be
No,
fun.
we have to go. Oh no, we have to go to the. No, him and I have a job tomorrow night. We're commentating on a fight.
Oh, I heard that. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of different new
We're the
projects
next
and
Jim Lampley
developing
and
new
George Foreman.
skills. Oh,
There you
baby's
go.
now
Just in
commentating.
case, if the cruiserweight and heavyweight division doesn't work out for us, we got to fall back on something.
First time on a reality show, now I'm a commentator. Like I see where it is going.
Reality TV star, commentator, amazing boyfriend, fighter,
We
world
went,
champion.
we went from going to
He
Pho every
does
night
it all.
and the Dolphin Mall to look at us now, all because Fernanda opened up the doors for us. Right?
Well, we're very excited about everything and anything that comes in our careers. We're both here for supporting each other, and we're excited about it. So thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Tom. If you want to give the little shout out where everyone can follow and hit the link to subscribe.
Yeah, because that fucking psycho Australian's going to be calling me at 3 o'clock. I'm like, why didn't you tell him to do this? Why don't you tell me that? And we got Anthony's got that great story we're bringing on in like 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Anthony's going to tell us a story about UFC and Jeet Kune Do and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My two favorite, I've wanted to do this since the beginning. And these are my two favorite people in the world. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Looking at the producer, anything else I need to mention, Mr. Producer? Don't be calling me up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Just for you guys
Follow
to.
Fernanda at Flores Official.
There you go.
Noel,
Noel Mikhaelian at Noel Mikhaelian.
spell it. N-O-E-L.
N-O-E-L-M-I-K-A-E-L-I-A-N. See how the brain works still after boxing?
Still works, man. I tell you, I've been with a lot of fighters. I got to say this while he's here. I've met a lot of fighters. I predicted who's going to be Cruiserweight champ. I predicted champions, not many. I've only worked with a few guys. And as soon as I saw him working, and it doesn't take long to figure out what a person's like. And after hanging around with him for a week, didn't even see him punch, didn't see him do anything. I knew he had the personality, and I know he had what it took to become champion.
Talent. He's
And-
so dedicated.
And that's without me even really knowing anything about his boxing.
You're making
Remember?
me sweat like
Yeah, I'm sweating like a whore in church again because we have no air
Compliments.
conditioning in this thing
But
and
keep going.
whatever. But he knows I love him, and I'm glad that she's part of his life because he was driving me nuts hanging out with him 14 hours a day. And we're good to go. And I think that's it. Episode 11 in the books. I think Dino's back in another week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yep.
And ciao for now.
See you guys.
So speaking of the UFC, this weekend we have Mr. Swinging Arms, Mr. McGregor fighting. But Anthony has an interesting story. As you guys know, Anthony's a partner, trains here at the gym, and he trained under Bruce Lee's partner and instructor. But he was telling us a story before. Patrick, take it over from here.
Yeah. I was talking with Anthony the other day, and he just gave me this gem of a story, really the origin story of the UFC, an alternate version that went untold. So, Anthony, if you can dive into what the UFC could have been instead of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu beginning.
Of course, yeah, no, it goes back. I mean, a lot of people don't think about this or speak about it, but UFC 1, Royce Gracie dominated everything. And then all of a sudden, 1993, this whole, everybody wants to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's the most supreme art. There is really no supreme art. I mean, you should cross-train in multiple things. That was the beauty of what mixed martial arts, the movement was. But going back, Jeet Kune Do, for as popular as Bruce Lee is, it's really interesting that not many people train the system because, Jeet Kune Do is art and philosophy. But, so you take one of Guru Dan Inosanto's student, Eric Paulson. You've heard of him, right? So he's the first American to ever win, I think, light heavyweight champion of shoot wrestling in Japan, right? So now it's catch wrestling. He trained jiu-jitsu, he trained silat, he trained Filipino martial arts, he trained Wing Chun, Western boxing, Dutch style, Thai boxing, all this stuff, the whole mixed martial artist. For some reason, the Gracies didn't match them in UFC 1. I believe if Eric and Royce fought, it would have been a very different turnout. And maybe people would have opened their eyes to, wait, Jeet Kune Do, or the mindset of Jeet Kune Do, to really cross-train, dabble in, look at something.
So basically, you're saying that they almost set themselves up, the Gracies, for them to succeed based on that.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't Royce, as great as he is, fight Eric? Why didn't they make that happen? He's so popular now, first American in Japan. This is it's catch wrestling.
For instance.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a wrestler versus a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Why not? And why not see what happens? Then after that, then boom, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, everybody wants to train it, which is great. Jiu-jitsu is a beautiful art. It's a very honest art. But again, I think the mindset or the whole acceptance of Jeet Kune Do. Because when I speak about Jeet Kune Do, a lot of people are like, wait, what is that, Taekwondo? And they don't really get it. But then when I say, it's Bruce Lee's, yeah, and everybody knows Bruce Lee. And I can't tell you how many times I repeat myself. I say this over and over again. Yeah. But the problem is everybody wants to be like Bruce Lee. But again, Bruce Lee was saying, be yourself.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And then people tend to forget that.
It's very interesting because with Bruce Lee, too, most people think karate, they think Taekwondo, kickboxing. They don't think of Jeet Kune Do, and
no, it's crazy.
That UFC moment was so big. Now Jiu-Jitsu is so popular.
Yeah, of course.
Bruce Lee's art is almost lost in a way.
I mean, again, and that has to do with the instructors and practitioners because we teach the Jun Fan material, what Bruce Lee taught.
One more time.
Jun Fan, Lee Jun Fan.
Explain the difference.
Okay, so in 1967, when Bruce Lee taught his students, his methods consisted of about 27 different martial arts, and Wing Chun was the dominant. So he had the nucleus. So when he passed away, some people just taught the nucleus, but he was all about, wait, no, we need to evolve this because, people are getting smarter with how to fight, and even in today's world too, with the access that we have, we can't do things 10 years ago. There is people constantly involved with their training.
Evolving, yeah.
That's what it is. Research. Research and development. That's with anything. You have to get better. You have to take, or even the approach. Even if you look at something 10 years ago, if you have different eyes or you get influenced by something, there could be another way.
Right.
And that's what Bruce Lee was all about. He's like, don't really teach what I'm teaching because this is going to be meaningless in 10 years, or it might not. There might be a better fighter out there.
That's what's so interesting too about with Bruce Lee. Didn't he mention that boxing and wresling were the two strongest bases for fighting?
Absolutely. Like when he came
tell him a story about the Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, when he came to this country, he was looking at Muhammad Ali, he was huge influence, and he's like, wait, I have to move like this man, and that's why our footwork is based on Ali. He's out of box, style, and he knew that sparring brought out the truth. All this magic that you do, I mean, not that everything has its place, but what can you really pull off in the ring?
Right.
Against someone equally matched, you're not here to kill each other. You're regulated, you got gloves on, you can punch, you can kick, you can throw elbows, you can grab. Don't break any bones. Yep. Don't hit somebody, rip somebody's eye out or kill them. Right. And let's see if we can go the distance and what works and what doesn't work, or how do you respond under the pressure.
And that's what's so interesting with the UFC today is it's constantly evolving. It's so young. It's only been around for 25 years or so.
Yeah.
So the skill levels are just blowing out of the water, and we're
Mm-hmm.
getting to see which martial art is most dominant. Right now, a lot of guys with wrestling backgrounds seem to have an advantage, but
even still though,
Also, a lot of people, you said about sparring before, a lot of people don't realize this. Bruce Lee still used to like spar and fight.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
no, of course. He used to spar and fight, but also what he trained, he mastered his level. Like even you take Wing Chun, he only studied it for 5 years. Now, granted, like to be called a master or whatever, it takes about 20 years, but he studied and he repped the crap out of all the stuff, repetition. Yeah. He owned his level. So, but sparring is the truth. That's why there's a few honest arts. Boxing's one of them, Muay Thai's another, and Jiu-Jitsu. You cannot lie and say, "Oh, I can box." Okay, let me see your footwork. Let me see your handwork. Let me see what you got.
There you go.
So
Absolutely.
there it is. A very interesting
So
story,
there you go.
right? I mean,
a
everyone
very
look into
interesting
that.
story that
yeah, a lot of people. I
that
mean,
I didn't know that I just learned today. So
And McGregor this weekend, right? Big UFC fight, obviously huge card around him and everything. We'll see which art he can implement to maybe get the win in the trilogy. Everyone's excited to see
Who do you have?
what style he brings. I think McGregor's going to get it done, although I do think part of his mystique is gone with a big win. Some of it is going to be back. It's going to be exciting. 50-50 fight.
Sifu.
yeah, I think it's 50-50. Again, you don't know what happens the day of. I mean, they say like reasons why you lose fights. I mean, one, you're having a bad day, could happen. Something could happen. Same on the way to the ring.
We all have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could be prepared and ready to go. I don't know. But I think McGregor wants to win
Yeah.
from his last. So we'll see if he can keep his cool. I mean, I like to see it go the distance. I'd like to see less grappling, more striking,
Right.
because that's just more entertaining for me personally.
I'm gonna go for my swinging, drinking.
There it
Irishman,
is.
right?
He's got the Ric Flair walk down.
Woo.
Big fight tonight. Appreciate that story. That was
Yeah,
really
for
cool
sure,
to hear
for
from
sure. Thank you.
guys. And everyone go hit follow, subscribe at the Pod Matrix on YouTube, Instagram, Brooklyn Boxing Podcast, and Sifu. Make
Yeah,
sure
so-
to give a shout out where they can check
Actually,
you out.
it's Sifu_AF. And then I represent also Kong Performance Miami. You can check that out and you see it's like an interesting way to train.
Awesome.
Hit the buttons, if you will. Like and subscribe. And
Yes,
I'm going to tell
subscribe.
you why I tell you to say that, even though I don't want to.
Thanks, guys.
I am the greatest.